Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube. What's going on, people? This is Influence, and today I got MS-03 Iron Arm, which is LimoStudio's third in the train bots, which is Radiotron, which is their combiner of the G1 Japanese train bots team. The reason I got it in this mode is because it comes in this mode. So I'm going to transform it from this mode to robot mode. This is going to be a long one. This is a very involved transformation. It's not as hard as it was when I don't know, I posted on some of the boards. Some of you might have seen that it was a beast. It is a beast, but once you do it a couple times, you know where the panels go. It's just a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot going on to get it here. It's a lot going on to get it to robot, and a lot going on to get it to train. And the directions are useless. Half the time they're trash. Directions are trash. Let's just call it what it is. Half the time you can't tell what part they're talking about. They're so zoomed in on some of the pictures. You can't really, you don't know what orientation the whole bot is in or whatever. So they just suck. I'm sure they took liberties. They had to sacrifice paper or whatever. They had to sacrifice to make these bots $100. I'm going to tell you that, because these are great bots. We'll get into my initial thoughts. It's some of the same. The bots are great. They're hefty. They have die cast. Their plastic's good. They function well. This pants mode, which, let me give a shout out to Bobby. I hear a lot of people calling, like, when they see torsos, pants now. And I think he was the start when he started calling Kaen toys monkey pants, because they have a monkey section that kind of turns into a torso, I guess. Haven't seen it yet. But anyway, I'm getting a little off track. Just shout out to Bobby. Skullface. That's why I call these pants now. So yeah, it comes in the pants mode. The pants mode is super sturdy, except for a little bit of the hips, and I'm not 100% sure. It seems sturdier when I first got this guy. It could be a case of transformation becoming loose, or it could be the case of me not knowing what I'm doing. So if you're here for a very functional and great smooth tutorial on how to transform this, you might as well click off now, because this ain't it. I'm gonna try to go as smooth as possible and try to cover some of the downfalls that I ran into when I fooled with this thing. All right, so let's just get into it now. We can get into some of the accessories. First, he comes with this big giant gun. No, first he comes with his gun. Has a little orange pieces to accent it, to match him. And it's black. And I don't know if it's paint or not, but it's like a little flake, so it may be paint. Then he has this thing, which separates into two guns. It came like this. I thought this was... It came like this, I'm sure, just because of space. I don't know. Well, they might have, but it still might have been because of space. I don't think this is supposed to be a gun, but I guess it could be if you wanted it to. I'm assuming this is part of the combine mode's gun. But yeah, you just put that there like that, and you have these things that go up, because it can go on train mode as well. And then you can put his gun up here like I had it. And then he has the big gun. He also can hold this gun as well in his hand, because there's all types of pegs. There's a peg that comes down here, which helps him hold it in his hand if he wants a giant gun. Move this down here. There's a peg here. I guess he can hold it maybe the double way, or he can hold it up here to have a big giant gun. But we'll get into that. Then you have the box. Nothing spectacular. Just their normal boxes. Again, it has the bot on the side to scale. 1-to-1 scale, which I like that. I'm not gonna, even the train was 1-to-1 scale and they couldn't fit it because the train is long. So tips before we start: transformation because that's going to be first. I'm going to have chapters in the description. I'm not sure if I said that. The directions, like I said, it just complicates things. It was much better, much smoother once I ditched the directions and kind of moved as the box. Like I looked at different things on the box and kind of moved things as I saw them. So that helped a lot for me. I know I'm more visual than anything. You know, when I got this guy, sometimes I turn to people who transform. I don't look at reviews because I don't want to be biased. I don't want to say the same thing other people say. So I try to stay away from reviews, but sometimes every now and then a transformer stumps me and I need to go to a review in order to figure out how to transform it. And I just look at the transformation sequence. But there were none. I couldn't find a video where it had it transform from this to robot. So I was on my own. Took me a couple days. Again, when you first get this, these are down in the box. I'm not sure. That took me like 10 minutes to figure out what they were moving because they were moving this piece down to start the transformation, but it was already down. So I'm like, what piece are they moving? I'm pulling this out here. I kept looking because it's so zoomed in. You don't know really. I knew it was this piece, or I thought it was. I knew it was on this side, but yeah, it comes like this. But this is how it should be for, and you can see these details. And we'll get into this more. I'm just going to transform it to robot because we'll get into this when I combine them all. All right. So as I'm doing this, if you see a lot of cuts, has nothing to do with me trying to make it look like I'm smooth. It's probably because I'm sitting there for a minute thinking about what to do. So if I cut it, I'm just cutting out unnecessary crap. So first you lift this up. Like I said, it's a lot of panels, a lot of stuff that they didn't say. It's pegged on here, pegged on up here. And it has pegs here that go into the side, the front piece. You can see them pegs a little bit. So lift up, pull out as you're lifting up so you don't break any of them pegs. Then you can fold that out. That peg right there, you just fold down. This flips down and you can just leave it like that for now. So it's gonna flip around like this. Then you move this down like this and bend this up. So that was a weird thing for me. And then you can move this piece around here like that. Now the other side is almost the same. You want to pull it up as you're putting it out. This goes down like that. And then you move this around. Sometimes it gets, after you do this, you can move this down like this if you need to get some room. But in here, you can see how they got the feet on top of this panel and plugged into there. So this thing is super tight. But in order to get that out of there, you need to move this down. It doesn't really tell you that. It just has you pulling this out. And you can get it out, but it's just easier to pull this. Or it might not be easier, but it's better than putting pressure on these pieces right here, trying to just yank them out. Spudger's a little too flimsy for these panels. And since they're metal, and it's going to be metal on metal, I use my metal kind of spudger. I don't usually use it, but I put it in here like this. I don't know if people will have that, but try to stay away from the plastic, and then it gives me the leverage that I need. And that's super, super tight. Then you can get this out. It's on a that joint right there. So once you get this out of here like this, then you want to push this back up in there, which again, it's tight joint. I mean, it's good for combination mode, but, and watch your fingers. Now, after you do that, you're going to have something to pull that back out, which I have this trusty piece. So then you move this down here, and you can almost have it where it needs to be. like that. Then to get this leg together, which it should be turned around like this. Have that down. No, like this. What am I talking about? And then these go down here because they're going to meet in the middle. You'll see in a minute. That down there. Put that like that. Now this foot, you want to pull out. You can move this out the way. Pull this out. Pull this down. You can move it down all the way, and then you can move this out. And you can just leave it like that. Then you don't have to fool with this foot really right this second, but it's up to you. Now this is going to come up in here like this. So this piece will sit in that little space right there, and then you can move this down. These pieces, I didn't move that one. You want to move this piece because it has the pegs to peg onto the side of the leg to connect it. Then once you do that, you want to remember you got to put these pegs up here. Put this in, I think the top one. Yeah. The top hole right here. So this I already did, and you want to move this like this so it fits in there. Then move this down like that, and then peg this in like that. So you're almost there. Then you can move this around, whichever way is easier. Then move it down, and it connects here and keeps these together. Kind of. It does a good job, but you just gotta have everything together in order for it to work. Once you do all that, it's pretty solid. Make sure this is right. See that? That's not right. Gotta make sure it goes in there like that. So then it creates those two pegs for this. You can do it now. It'll keep it together and you can see it. And this is where the pain is. Like, you know, you gotta have everything lined up just right. And man, becomes a lot. Because then you're holding all this together to try to keep it together until you can peg everything in. Then you can move this down here like this, and that peg goes into this. So it helps keep that, and then these two pegs clip on to the outside. There you go. You have a leg just about done. Then you want to pull this toe out like this and move it down into the toe position. And there you go. One leg done. Now for the other one, I don't know how quick I'm gonna do this. Not gonna be step by step. Exact same process, except the opposite side. Put it out, flip it around. Pull this out, pull this up, out. Then after you get all that, try to get this out of here. Go this way. This back up. Watch that panel. down. Down. This round. Put this in here like this. There we go. Move these around. Put this. So you gotta make sure all this stuff is right, or else. Or else. You got it down correctly. So you can get this in here like this. Move this over. I want a little smoother. Let me not jinx myself. Second leg is finished after this toe comes down. And we got some legs. It's a little tab there. Tabs on it there. Have these little tabs here. Come down. They pull out. Come down. Both sides. Do it the same on the other side. That's the saving grace, is that both sides are similar. Like they're almost exactly the same. Like it's almost the same sculpt and everything. So pull these down. Pull these down. So once you get to know what's going on, you can kind of figure it out. So that's the saving grace. And after that, you want to move these up in order to get these out like this. I don't know what's the best course of action here. I like to do it this way so I can get the hips together. So you pull that out and then do the same over here. Pull this out. It is a little tight if you don't do this stuff up here first. But like I said, I like to get the hips together. In order to, so then I can concentrate on the rest of it. So then you put the hips together like this. You can kind of tell. Then they go together. Then you can put these skirts back down, and they have two pegs. You can see those pegs, and they go in those peg holes. And it keeps the hips together on both sides. And then you have real legs. So that's why I like to do that. And then you get the hips where you need to get them. Now for this stuff up here, which can be a little daunting. Move this down. I'm going to take this out here. First time you do that is super, super tight. Of course, it got loose after I've done it a couple times. There's some paint scrapage there. And I don't want to scrape it off too much. But I guess this is painted over orange plastic. I don't know. Unless it's some of the orange paint got on there on top of the gray. I'm not sure. It doesn't really bother me that much. But move these out. And they're on these weird arms. Let me show these arms. These arms can be a pain. Like really, if you've handled Transformers with these type of arms before, you kind of know that you just have to keep working with it and get it. I don't know how best to describe how you have to. It's kind of intuitive because you see how it moves, but they move so many different ways. You got to really kind of figure it out. So this is pegged into here. So then you move, you see how all this stuff moves. Like this moves on this joint and these joints, and then this moves around like this on this joint. You just want to get it, and you might as well do it now how it's supposed to go. So once you get it like this, you can turn this in like this and then move this. And that's kind of how it's gonna go for the back. So you turn it in and then you move it. Nope, wrong way. Turn it this way. Move it in, then this moves like that. So that's kind of how you're gonna have it. I do it now just to get it out the way, just so it's not flopping around. So then you do this one the same. Move this, kind of move it like this, and then move this, fold this over, pegs together, fold this over, pegs together, and then you move it in. You can fold this down. So this is how it'll be on his back. So I just leave it like that. Then you fool with these arms. So the arms are on weird joints as well. So you just pull this out. And it's on all these type of joints. It's a slider joint that goes up and down. It's a joint that goes out like that. It goes like this. So you just want to get this arm out the way for now. Kind of move it up like that, which it sounds terrible because it is. Do the other side, move it up like that. And then you can just like kind of leave it alone. But first you want to move this all the way down. I always do this side. I don't know what side is what or what side should be done. But after you move that all the way down, you can spin this around to open up the head. Then you can move this back up. And you got to try to kind of keep it there for now. Because these parts right here, you want to fool with these parts. You can't see that. So these have two pegs right here, pegs right here. They're very tight. You can see I didn't really have them together because they're so tight. It's so hard to get them together, and they still function the same way. So I don't care. See if I can get them together tight. These are very tight, but push it down like that. They have two holes right here. If you can see, you can't see that. There's two pegs that go into right here. You can't really see. You want to move this like this. This stays like this. And then you move this up here. And this should peg together tighter. And this should go here and keep the arm up like that. You should have that little space where you're going to eventually move the arm into. Too much stuff. This side is the same way. Same over here. This down like that. Move this up. Oh, don't forget to flip these. Kind of gives it to hold these up here like this. Squeeze down here just to get them pegged in. There we go. There we go. So now you got something like this. Now for this. Flip this up. It's going to peg in up there. Peg that in over here or up there. And then what you got with this, you can move these down here like this. Then these move over and that pegs into there and it kind of solidifies that. But it is like on a double joint where you got to kind of move it up in this joint area. You get that in there like this. Yep, I think it was supposed to be down. They're like on little slider joints. I think I got to slide them down for train mode, so I'll show it there. Because if it's not all the way up, it won't peg in correctly. And I can never get this in. Like, it's not tight to me. I don't know how well it's in there, but let's see. And this side, you want to do the same thing over here. And I recognize it could be this as well. Like, if you don't have this in down here as well as it should be, it'll throw everything off. So worry about it then. And you try to get all this mess out the way in order to do the same thing back here. So hopefully you can see that. Let's move that up, peg it in. Take my word for it. It's pegged in. What about in the first one? You want to move them up. You see how they moved up? They're on sliders. I don't know. Move it up. Then you kind of do the same thing over here. Get this closed. Then get this closed. Now I'll do one side at a time. Now if you can see, it's a little split there in two kind of peg holes. They go into here, these things, and they kind of, you can't really even see it, but it kind of solidifies it. And take my word for it, if you can get it, it's really hard. And like, I don't see none of that in the directions, which is one of the reasons why I think they're trash. Because this is a pretty big reason. Like, it's a pretty big thing for that to go into there. Because it actually keeps it, you know, keeps it together. You can move this. You want to try to do this side too. There we go. That one did a little smoother. Don't forget to spin these around. Spin these around. I have no idea why they do that. I don't know if it's just like an extra step in the transformation or what, because it looks almost the same on both sides. And I'm not sure. Don't know why. We're getting there. Now you can swing these back to the back. Then get the arms out. Move these down. Open these. Pull these fists out. While you're doing that, this will all come undone, of course. I tried to keep it from coming undone, but it doesn't work the greatest. It's cool that it has it, and this also. You see how I had to move that? That's how you have to have the shoulders. Move this out here. Sometimes this comes up with it because the peg is on here. It's not a big deal though. It's pretty tight. Flip the hand out. Almost to the home stretch. Now this stuff back here, you just want to peg all together. You can see the pegs. You know where it kind of goes. They are a little tight, and it takes some doing getting it all lined up, but you can do it. Like I said, they're tight pegs, so it is kind of hard pegging them all in at once. That's about as good as I'm gonna get it. And there's pegs up here on both sides. And there's two pegs in the back, right here and right here, that these pegs will peg into. It doesn't really matter if you want to just leave it, but I'm just doing it how it says to do it. That peg isn't that strong. I mean, it's all right. It is strong if you get it in there correctly. And I moved these out. I forgot to say that these things, I moved them out because then the peg fit back there. And here is Iron Arm. I will show a picture of his counterpart. Like I said in the other videos, I don't know this lore at all. So I'm not the best when talking about it from a standpoint of that. Like, I know people, these are like beloved characters. I think this, I'm not sure about this, if this goes like this or not. I think you can move them down so they're not too protruding. Put his gun in his hand. His gun just goes in with just the hole, and the peg's actually in his hand, which makes it is cool. And it is strong. His fingers aren't the strongest, but it goes in there well, and it's okay. So let's do some comparisons now, bringing the rest of the team that I have. Here's the team shaping up to be great. Yeah, I think I love the way they look like in robots. They're intimidating. They're big. He's super chunky. He's way chunkier than the others. But I like that. I like that they're different sizes. I like that they, even though all the combiners are different sizes usually because of how they have to combine. But I think the way this is made with him being pants and then having the upper torso, having six bots, which is original. I do know that. But I just think it lends itself to where they're not all over the place, like how the leaders, the torsos was usually a lot bigger than the arms and leg bots, but these just seem like they're subtle differences, and I like it a lot. Now we bring in Prime, and you can see just how they're not towering over Prime, but they're big. They're big, kind of like the Dinobots, and I like that scale. Just for fun, bringing a Dinobot, just so you can see what he looks like next to them, and they're about the same size, head-wise. So yeah, there we go. When I was dealing with accessories, I neglected to talk about two accessories. So you get the coupler rings that go into the train that you got with the other bots, so you can connect all the trains together. And also you get a bag of pieces. Now, there's some pegs, and I don't have them in hand because I put them on here and I'm about to show you where. So there's some pegs, and there's screw fillers, and there are two clear windows that I have not found out where they go yet. Maybe I'll find out this video, maybe not. The covers, I believe, go here because it has that shape. Like it's flat on one side, then it's a half circle. And over here on this side, and that's the backpack if you want to zoom out and see. And the other things go here. Now there's a screw hole right here, because it's in the shape of this piece that goes up, and it's like a square right here, and that's what that fills in there, because there's a hole there, and I still don't have it all the way in. It can go all the way in and fill in that square, and then it's in the front here. I guess it's the way they had to assemble the legs. They had to put the screw right there and then a screw back here. It looks like it's the same exact leg, and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Like, they mirror, everything mirrors on this guy. So I think it's just the same exact leg, like the same mold and everything, and they just turn it around. So that's why there's a screw here and a screw back here, because they just screwed them all right here, all of them, and then they just assemble them however. Like at least this assembly is. So let's get into articulation. Has his head goes down about that much, goes up about that much. There's a little loose in there, and that is, I don't know if that's me or if that's just the design, but you can get side to side from it being loose, and you also can get side to side on the actual ball joint. So you have that. His arms, you can get up all the way like this if you do use this joint that comes off all the time. That's supposed to keep these other arms on. So that's not good. But if they do stay like that, you can still get this up as well. So you can use both if you need to. Both joints. Even though this joint isn't really supposed to be utilized. But it comes up anyway. So I say use whatever. That joint's loose because it comes up. But this joint is nice and tight. No failing on that. You have friction that goes all the way around. That is a tight joint. I am scared to do that. Oh man. Yeah, that's a tight joint. I'm afraid that's going to shave it off. Like I said, you can get it all the way around. Let me try this one. Yeah, that's tight. That is fans toys tight. How they used to be. Yeah, double jointed elbow. Get you, of course, full everything. You get elbow bicep right here. Bicep swivel, I mean. Not elbow bicep. You got individual fingers. Well, they're on the base knuckle. And then you have the second knuckle. There's the four fingers. And then you have the thumb on like a hinge with a ball joint. It's on a ball joint with a hinge. Yeah, that's it. This, I don't know if you can get a ab crunch. I think you can. And I think the big guy is supposed to get an ab crunch too, but I'm not certain, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I'm going error at no, but you do get the swivel. You don't get a teapot either. I don't think anyway. Got individual skirts that go up front and back, no side skirts. And this is crazy as well. These are insane. They don't feel terrible, like they don't feel like they're going to break, but the hips feel weird when you're doing that because they're just held on by these tabs on this thing. So this one's a little loose. You get about that much, I guess. I think you could go another click, but I'm not going to. So you see, he does about as much splits as you like or you should need. But again, that ratchet is crazy. And the ratchet forward is crazy as well because it, of course, is double duty. It's for the big robot. No failing at all. He does the hurdles. So that's strong. And he has a strong knee joint that gets you more than 90. It's not double jointed, but you see it does go up more than 90. Any more, it would hit the backpack. So it probably doesn't matter anyway. You get the swivel at the cut joint for the thigh. Then you have toe. The toe is just built into here. So you just get the toe down. You don't really get no up because it hits that. And then you get the rocker here. And you can get this down. It's a joint that you can go down farther if you need it. Where if you need like you can't see that. If you need like a pose, say a deep T pose, you can move this down so it goes below. So it's touching the ground, even though his legs aren't really. And there's no heel spur to talk about. And that sometimes hinders his standing. But it's not bad. It's fine. face sculpt. I don't know if I showed face sculpt up close and personal. I like the paint. I like the eyes. The eyes are actually painted with like a metallic blue, but the eyebrow keeps it shadowed. It's nice, but again, I don't know if you can even see that. My lights are like kind of above and to the side, but the eyebrow just shadows his eyes so it doesn't look painted. It looks kind of dead. But again, it is, and the helmet's nice, and the paint on the side, the paint here is great. Like that orange on top of gray. Looks really well done. Over here, it looks muted. It does look like they could have put another coat of orange, but it looks kind of dirty. It looks like it's supposed to look like that. Yeah, it's another solid bot. I don't know too many people that's having these for bot mode. I do know a few people that's getting them for both. And I can see that, especially if you're into this character. I mean, into the whole character of Raiden. So, now, time for train mode. Oh, God. No, let me stop. So, I've only done train mode once. Bear with me. That's the second time I've done, no, that's the third time I've done robot mode. So you just want to reverse. Put this up here. I do it like this. I'm not sure how the directions tell you to do it, but I just do it however it can fit. So I had the knuckles up so they're pointing down because that thumb is hard to get in there. And I close it. It was fine coming out doing it that way. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Leave it on the shelf in train mode. And then I'll turn it into pants mode at the combination video. You just move these up. You just want to get all this stuff back together. Kind of. Move that up. It's back together. Move that up. So get this out of here. Move that down. Like that. Move this up. Get this out of here as well to move it down. Because then you want to split these. Kind of move them like that to split them. Then move them out. Now, you want to pull this out here and out here. Just so you can get these hips moving. Because now what you want to do is move this up all the way. Like it's on a double hinge here. You want to hinge it up. Move these out the way and push this down. Because now you want to plug this into here. So before you do that, again, I'll move this down. Move this down here. You can split this as well. Just so you can get it out the way. Push this down. Move this over to cover up. After that, then you can resume. Because then you got some room to work with. You can move this up here like this. Move this over here. Then you'll have some room to work with where you can kind of move this down all the way. Make sure these hips are down straight as well. That's one of the reasons why it wasn't going in there. So then you have it like that. Then you turn this like this. Then you clamp these. And there's a plug here. Goes into that side of the leg. And then there's a peg here. It pegs into this thing on the other side. The peg here isn't that tight, but the peg here is. So that's saving grace. Same thing on this side. I know you can't really see it because it's all that black plastic. There we go. That one's actually tighter over on that side. So then I just leave that like that. Keep this here. Move this up. Now you do the same over here. Split these. Turn them up like that. Kind of move them out the way as much as possible. Then you can get these hips up. Again, make sure this is down all the way. You probably should make sure it's down all the way before. Apologize about that one because they're tight. And it probably would have been easier to do it when it was connected. My bad. Now there's like all this stuff. And this is what gets not difficult, but it kind of gets nerve-wracking. Like it gets on your nerves because you just have all this stuff going on. And it may be an easier way. Somebody that's better at this transformation than me maybe can figure it out. But for now, I just do it however you can get it. So that, you move that up. Don't forget to move that like that. The toe should be pointing up. And then you get all this together. That one was easy. Get this together. There we go. Yay. So now what you want to do down here is get them, and you don't have to do it right now. You just want to get them out the way. So I just leave them like that. These go like this and are preparing for all of this. Undo all this. You undo that. Kind of pull this out. Undo that. Pull these out. Flip them around. Now you can actually move this out before you flip it around because it's going to be out like that. Then you can flip this around. This. You flip this around because then you want this in here like this. At the same time, you're moving this out. You can move this foot in here. Move this out like this. Don't forget to spin these around because they're going to be on the outside now. Then you go like that. Put these down. That kind of clips in there. And then you can wait. That's pretty much it. Put this back together. You can kind of move this so it's in more. You see that it's like on the double hinge. You see how that moves. So you just want it in enough to close this. Move this back up here. Get that together. This down. That closes like that. Move this down. This goes on to here like this. Connection. Move that back down here. Move these wheels, which are insane tight. This might come off. Yeah, and you can move those wheels whenever you want. It's just things are tight. You move this down here like this. Make sure. See, I didn't move this around. Then this goes into there and pegs into there. There you go. You have that part. So here's this. Move it out. Pull it up. Move this out. Pull that up. Pull that out while pulling it out. Now spin these around so don't forget. Because then you're going to have to spin these around. And they need to be on the inside. Spin those around. Now these, you come up and put it up like that. Then it goes like that. Same for over here. You want to move this up like that and then clamp that there. Then move that in there like that. So now you want to get this, move that a little bit just to get this out of here. And sometimes it's difficult to figure out what you're moving and what needs to be moved because they're so close together. Again, move that in a little bit so this can close. Then start to close out all of this. This up there, up there. Move this in there, like that, in there. And this closes here. Again, make sure it's down. Then you want to close this. Kind of closes on top of one another. You just got to figure out which one. And then, oh, this is kind of messed up. That's my fault. This don't usually come out like that, but I had this not right. So make sure this is squared up, and then these two can go on the side, and then you can move this up. And if you have it right, it's fine, but I didn't have this right all the way out. And it just came off the, it's like a peg, a friction peg. And now you're, oh, tires. Tires. I don't normally do this with metal, but it's the tires, so I'm not really caring about scratching up right there. And good news, it didn't scratch it, so that's a good thing. So now you're looking at this mess and like, what the hells am I doing with this? Well, let me tell you, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. So you just gotta get this out of here. Again, move this around. You can see it's kind of intuitive. Like I said, the directions suck, but as you're manipulating it, you can see that the orange pieces should be on the outside, just because you know that's going to be the outside of the train. This part should be pointing that way. You're going to want this, and this is tricky because this is what's going to happen. You're going to somehow get these manipulated to bring this around here. You're going to want these two pegs to peg onto here and here. This is fold down, of course. Peg onto there and be fine. That's not fine. I mean, that's not hard. But what's hard is figuring out how to get these together, because then this, you're going to have to manipulate in order to get, trying to see where the front is, or to get that pegged onto here, which is this part pegs on to here. Should have a peg under there. Yep, right there, peg hole, I should say. And it goes on there in that little space. Now you just have to, and I'm going to show, you see all these, you just have to maneuver these in order to get this out here like this, in order to get this over here. And it looks harder than it is, but once you figure out how to get these in here to stay in, so they're inside there. See these, how they are? You can put that there like that. And there's a couple pegs. There's a peg here, that peg's there, and a peg right here. So once you get that there like that and get this pegged on, pretty much wherever you can get that. Let's see. There we go. And that peg's pretty tight, and that peg holds. And then over here, you want to do the same thing. Peg that in. Now, this is kind of tricky, but again, if you understand the way these joints move, I don't know if I can, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Those joints right there. Now you have to move them down. They go down, they go over. They also spin. Now watch out when you're spinning, because that's a lot of pressure on this, because this joint is so tight. But you got to kind of get it to spin, because you see these holes, these pegs. That peg is going to peg there, that hole, it pegs there, and then there's a peg over there as well. So you just got to, don't do that. But at the same time, if you can see, I'm moving that joint that way, and then I'm moving it on that joint around. And it's super tight. But once you do it, you see it's going to line up, and it should line up. This you want flush. Oh, you can't see that. This right there, you want to try to get that more flush. So the flusher you get, the more it'll go where it's supposed to go. And there you go. Kind of. Then I just get these in there, back up. Try to get this one as well. This came out. So again, open that, open this, open this. You may need to spin it this way to open. Nah, let me see. There we go. Like that. So it takes some doing. Like you gotta, you just, it's kind of intuitive, but it's kind of not. Again, there we go. So now you know you want this over here and in this position. And then just figure out how to get these in here, however they can go, in order for it to stay in this position. Like I said, I put that in there. This is not staying. That's okay, because it should stay once I get this in there. Getting over here, move this down. Get this in there. Like that. Now this, again, gotta get it the best you can get it. Like that. And you know this is in the front, and it has to peg onto there. So again, you just gotta figure out what side to get it on. And here you go, this side. And again, you gotta try to get this flush up against there. And that's what's the pain, getting that flush. And that side's kind of better. Yeah. Both these sides, the pegs don't really, these train things don't really stay right until you get all this together, I think. So now with this, you want this pegged on down to here. And the way you do that is this joint right here is kind of like goes down. You can see it, like it kind of spins down. So now it's lower, and you can get it onto that joint, onto that lower portion. And then this comes down, I believe. No, it's already down where it needs to be. And you just gotta get it on here. The peg hole's right there. The peg's right there. Of course, it's this. They use the same hole that you use for the other. And you gotta move it down. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. Yeah, there we go. Moves down, and then you can get that into that peg hole where it's supposed to go. Theoretically, anyway. It doesn't really fit great in there anyway, so you move this down. Put that in there like that. Put this together. Home stretch. Then over here is the same. Move this down on this. See, it's up there like that, and you want to move this down while you're moving this up, and this joint doesn't move. And then it kind of shimmies down where you can get it so it tabs into there. Then, of course, you're moving this down. Down there in order to peg into the side here. Again, moving this down here to peg into the side. Move down here, they kind of cover those holes. They just look more, I guess, uniform, cleaner. Again, if you didn't do it over here, because I didn't show it. And now for this part, there's holes right in here that pegs in these holes. So peg that in there, peg that in there, and then this kind of lays flat, and this one does the same thing over here. Kind of lays flat, and you peg it into those pegs right there and right there, and then push it flat, and then it's flat so it doesn't touch the ground. And the last but not least, or maybe least, because I don't know how much they work, but there's I'm not flipping them up, but there's little things that you flip up to keep the wheels up. The wheels have zero problems staying up as I'm adjusting them because they fell down. They only fell down because it was like I put super pressure on it. But yeah, they don't have an issue staying up, and they can move even if you have it right. So yeah, this is a long train, kind of like this video. And yeah, here's the long train. I'm not sure if this is the electric train. I don't know what this is. I know one of them was electric train. I think they were all real trains in Japan. So you got that little bit of knowledge that I don't know about. So then you have this. You can put this. Let me see. First you have this. I guess you can put this up here as well, if you just like that. But why stop there when you can do this? Or you can do this. No, you can do this. Let me see. There's a number of places. But then you have a train with a giant cannon on it. But so yeah, you got that. So yeah, there we go. Like I said, I'm not going to pants mode because I'm going to show pants mode in the combined video. All right, so thank you for watching this video. This has been Influence. This was a lot. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it. And check me out in another one. Peace.
Ain't over. Life ain't over. Life ain't over. Life ain't over. As long as you're alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.